Hello, and welcome to Girls, Gays, Animes, where it is safe to love what you love and love who you love. I am your host, Valsaraptor. I am here with my co-host, T.
Hey guys, it's T.
We are here with a special guest host.
Hello, I am Bit King DT, or if you oppose the monarchy, Danny, like Phantom.
So, our topic for today, we have Danny, like Phantom, on to discuss 4 different BLs. So, the 4 that we're going to go through are Sk8 the Infinity, Yuri on Ice, Sasuke and Miyano, and Cherry Magic.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over Yuri, which is my number 3. So, I mean, I don't really have too much to say. Like, the cultural moment of it is just it's kind of close to a shonen, where it's just I was more interested in a lot of the side characters because they were cooler or flashier.
So, there's one unhinged moment in Yuri that is, so, off the cuff, and it's that one dude when he's skating his final scene, and he gets really into his dance.
Yes.
He gets too into his dance, and I'm like, for this to be such, for it to already be so, right, because we talked about how Yuri is kind of pivotal, and it's one of the first of its kind and everything else, and so they're taking things really carefully, I feel like, and then this dude just he jizzes his pants while he's skating, he creams himself.
Hell yeah.
They really do take it so carefully, because I remember when it was airing, people were like, wait, did they get married? Are they engaged? Are they actually in love? What is going on? And now today, everyone's like, yeah, of course that's what happened.
Right.
But I do still see people sometimes in the comments of Yuri on Ice things, and they're like, wait, they actually got together in the end? But like you said, they were trying to frame it so carefully. It was they were walking on ice. It was new territory.
That's me. Literally just now, I'm like, oh, they do get together.
I had posted a TikTok about it was making a joke about straight animes and how they're actually very gay, and I had said name some that I missed, name straight animes that are actually gay, and someone commented Yuri on Ice, and then they didn't get attacked in the comments, but people were like, no, that's canon. They exchanged rings. You can't explain out away the love that they have for each other. It's canon. It's not something that we're just implying heavily is gay at a certain point nowadays anyway, I think.
Yeah.
You don't exchange friendship rings with the homies? Come on. But for real though, I cannot think of you had the best friends necklaces that you don't have
Gold
I'm not gonna give
band
my bestie a ring.
Rings.
Oh my gosh, so I have a slight tangential funny story for that. When I was in Disney, I was looking for a present for my 2 friends, and I was trying to see if there was a best friend's necklace or something like that. I'm thinking when we were little and they had those, and sometimes it would split into 3. And I was trying to find something like that, and then I was trying to find something that all 3 of us could have the same thing of. And I ended up finding these cute little keychains, and it was Mickey and Donald, and they're food. And I was like, okay, well, I can't find one that all 3 of us can have, but at least my 2 friends can have these matching ones. And when they see it, they'll think of all 3 of us. It's our little squad thing.
Okay, cute.
And I was looking for this, and I'm explaining that to my husband. And he goes, T, Disney is not going to make polyamory gifts. They're very open-minded now, but they're not going to have that. And I was like, why not? Can they do that for me? So I can have my friend present.
Polyamory, but because the rent is too high, Disney, they should. Don't they realize that if they market to the polyamory people, then that's at least 3 wallets that they can take from.
They got Pride merch. Costs. Just take it one step further.
They're getting their baby steps. Baby steps.
The baby steps.
Sora, Donald, and Goofy. That's 3 right there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so... But that's weird, because I feel like there was 3 best friend trinkets that you could get other places.
Yeah.
At the time.
I just
in the 90s
when I was
or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, especially with the cultural coming back around again thing, I was thinking, okay, we're going back to the early 2000s with style and music and things like that. I'm sure there's going to be something like that, especially in the little kids section. I was even looking in the kids section, and they had little dangly bracelets, but it wasn't a best friends kind of bracelet. And I was like, you're so close to what I want, you just don't have it.
Hey, in a post-Challengers world, I think we can. I think we can manifest this to happen.
One of my favorite trinkets that I got at Disney in Japan is like his and hers keychains, but they were the octopus hot dogs, but then one had like a mini bow on it and the other one just had regular Mickey ears on it. And I was like, this is cute. So many things combined into one, and I love every aspect of this.
Hell yeah.
And then it had like another dangly keychain on it that was an onigiri. Come on.
Yuri and Victor would have those 100%. They would totally have those. Yes. On their phones.
Yeah, like if they were just homies, they would just exchange phone trinkets, but they exchanged gold, like, bands. Gold
from, like, Spain or Italy. Where were they?
Wherever they were at the time, yeah.
Yeah, wherever they were.
Yeah, and I know, like,
and they smooched. You out there smooching the homies?
Well,
on the
that's
mouth?
The other thing.
Okay,
the
on
way
a sports
the
thing,
smooch was, it wasn't like you didn't see them touch lips. It was the thing, and you see their faces like right next to each other. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was given the times, they had to do what they had to do. So I can see once again, I can see the discourse around it, where it doesn't look like they might be kissing, they might not be kissing, but given the context of the rest of the show, they was kissing.
I will say.
Plus, like he blushed. That is heavily implied kiss.
And none of these, they show it explicitly. Like, not even, like, Sasuke and Miyano came out 2022. Like, I paused it. I was like, wait, are they showing it? But, like, not really. Nope. They're kind of doing, like, that trick you were saying.
They, like, pan down. They show their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did kiss in Cherry Magic, like, legit kiss.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
But you're right. I remember when I was watching Satsuki and Miyano, when I was watching the graduation special, I was like, did they kiss? Did I forget that already? And like, I remember them hugging when they first got together. And I was like, did they kiss then? I don't remember because I was angry.
I think
it took so long.
When they're at the bus stop, they do smooch. And I remember that because Mim, I had her watch it, and like 8 episodes in or whatever, she's like, when are these kids gonna smooch? Like, why haven't they smooched yet? And she was so upset. And so then, like, she texted me, like, they finally smooched. And I think it was the bus stop confession thing.
Yeah. It did take a very, very long time for the smooch.
Yeah. Okay, so Yuri on Ice, I feel like it doesn't, we all know Yuri on Ice. We get it. It was, it's good. It's still good. The OP
it's historical.
Is, like, consistently on my playlist no matter what.
Okay.
I walked down the aisle to it.
The OP, I was like, oh, wait, are these the guys from the We Are Young guys from like 2012? Fun?
Oh, yeah,
That's what it sounded like every time I heard it. I was like, I like it, but it was just like,
it is one of the OPs I will never skip. My husband gets so mad whenever I'm rewatching it because I never skip over the OP, and he's like, he'll start mocking it, and I'm like, no, you shut your mouth.
When I want to get a good workout in, like when I want to get on the treadmill and run, I blast that, and I'm like, I'm born to make history, damn it.
I'm born to...
Basically. I can walk forever. You try to get me to run, it's like 2 seconds.
I tried to run for a single second at softball a month ago, and I tore my quad, so that shows me.
Oh, that was that picture you sent me?
Yeah.
That was awful.
That was wrecked.
Yeah. Your girl's still in pain. I'm in Spain without the A.
All right, speaking
like
of
Yuri.
S words, let's go to Sk8.
Different kind of skate, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do. And they're both connected by skating. That's funny.
Yeah.
Two sports alike in dignity.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Before we start talking about Sk8, who was your favorite ship for Sk8?
There were ships. Remember, the show came out like 2 or 3 years ago at this point, so like I was just watching it. I'm not like into fandom or the discourse or anything,
but like watching it, who were you like they're in love the most?
Okay, fuck, I had to think about this. I think if like I think the most interesting one, like off the top, is Cherry. It's funny enough, Cherry and Adam. Like that one I could really like in terms of like I just like that dynamic, and I guess if I have to put it as a ship I will. And then like of like
the record scratch.
What?
The record
versus
scratch.
super calculated.
Adam?
I ship Adam with like a jail cell door.
What's the
that man should not be near children.
What's the Drake song?
Oh yeah,
probably A minor.
That's Kendrick saying it. Yeah, it's Kendrick saying it about Drake.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and it's for Adam as well.
Yes, that man, he was way too obsessed.
So what's the thing he says in the non-binary hose?
That was so fucking funny.
Bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes.
When I originally watched it, I watched it dubbed. Oh. Or, I mean, I watched it subbed.
Yeah.
And then I kept seeing clips. It was the same thing that happened to you, Danny. I kept seeing clips of him saying that, and I was like, is that a joke? Was that real?
Yeah, because, like, in the sub, it's just, hello, skate fans.
Yeah.
Fools who love skateboarding.
Yeah, whatever.
I put it in Spanish, too, because I wanted to see what they do. Like, bienvenidos and bienvenidas and bienvenides. Like, I guess, yeah. Like, they created it in there. Like, hell yes. I mean, that is, like, if you were to non-gender it, that's how it sounds. So they do the same thing in Spanish.
That's funny.
I like that they took like the English translation. Like it's like they translated it to English first and then to Spanish, as opposed to just straight Japanese to Spanish.
Well, yeah, it's the localization. I want to find whoever localized it, and I want to track all of their career. I'm like, if you're doing it, bring it on.
So okay, I think T and I, we're just on the ship train, and the reason that we're both so shocked and offended is is we're Matcha Blossom shippers, so Cherry and Joe.
Oh, Joe, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I saw that. Like, I was like,
I hope you do.
There's the beach scene where he's like, ooh, who's that hottie over there? And it's Cherry.
It's
the part where like the part with the cat boy, it was like mom is over there. That was so funny.
Mom is so mad. He's like, what? No. Oh my gosh. So that's like one of my favorite scenes, and I think that's what really sealed it for me. And I'm so excited for the OVA that's coming out. That's gonna go through.
Oh yeah, when is that?
I don't think they've announced when it's coming out yet.
Okay. I'm trying to keep that on my radar.
Right. And so I think they're going to go into a bit more of the relationship with Adam and like why Adam is the way that he is too, because they all went to high school together, right?
Yeah. They were like a trio, and then Adam got weird. And now they're only a duo.
And then they could only find 2 keychains at Disney, and
then Joe and Cherry were like, I guess us, and like, I guess Adam just left us. Adam got a new. I ordered the Uber, but Adam got in and left. So like now we're just here.
Side conversation. They were like, "So you're not into kids, right?" And they were like, "Oh, thank God, we can still be friends."
Hey, Adam's assistant, are you cool? Like,
right?
What's your favorite guitar chord? All right.
Oh no!
Okay. Answer truthfully.
The soundtrack, like speaking of like OPs you don't skip, like that one, like, and
that one's also on my workout playlist. Overall.
Yeah, that one's on my workout playlist. The dub for Reki was so weird because like everyone else sounded like kind of normal, but like his literally sounded like a closet sound studio dub where like I was like, wait, is my soundbar broken? And then I put it on my iPad and I was like, no, that's just how we like the first couple episodes just sounds like that.
Oh, interesting.
Like, but like it not like it sounds like a 2000s dub. Like I got so much so much of the vibes. Like the music sounds like Sonic Adventure Battle 2 like threw up in my mouth, and I love it so much. Like it's such a 2000s vibe. Like if I watched this as a kid on like Kids WB or like Kids WB, this is exactly that kind of vibe. Like 4Kids, I would have been obsessed with this.
One thing that, not to take away from the pride aspect of this, because I think we're going to talk about it a bit more, but one thing that I also really like about this is how neurodivergent like all of the characters are.
Yeah.
Like name a neurotypical character like in Sk8. Right. Like they're all, because you've got special autism, interests. You've got ADHD. I think there's a lot of autism, but there's a lot of special interests. But I think that's pretty common in sports animes. In fact, I think actually I'm trying, because I had a couple of TikToks and like so people have been commenting things, but someone tried to tell me that Blue Lock was more gay than Haikyuu. And I was like, shoot, I better go back and rewatch, because I watched a couple episodes and I'm like, this is good, I'm gonna watch this. But it was like more actiony than I was anticipating. But now I'm like, I gotta go back. If there's some BL in there, I'll find it.
Yeah, I'll sniff it out.
What's it called? What did I write here? I wrote like the subtext is so text that it doesn't feel like queer baiting. Because like my sister said that like it was like this is just bait, but then like as I keep watching, it's just like it's kind of like I don't know if y'all have seen Wicked, but like the play, like it's just so there that like it like they're well-rounded characters, they're well developed, each of them. I think that's why it's my number one, is because like both of them have their own like baggage, their own issues. They both feel like characters outside of each other.
Yes, and I agree.
I think that's easily why it's with the music really pushed it up on top of Cherry Magic. But like I loved it so much.
I'll say too that it's not like, I don't know that it's necessarily explicitly canon, but like when it's one of the characters' birthdays, I think it was Longda's birthday last year or the year before, they released some official art, and it was just like Longda, Reki, and then like Longda's mom, but like Reki and Longda are like hugging in front of a cake, and then the mom is just like, oh, look at how cute they are.
Aww.
Like it's, I'll find it and I'll send it to you guys and I'll put it up on screen so that everyone can see, but it's like it implied even more that they're in love.
Right. Like and like going back to like quote unquote subtext, like the whole thing when like his mom is like trying to get Longa's mom is trying to give him advice, and it's like, oh, that lucky girl. is like, it's not a girl. Like, okay, like like they know what they're doing. Like they're very much trying to like beat you over the head with it.
It was. I have a fun skate related story. So when we were watching that and we were like really heavily into it, we decided that we were going to get skateboards. And my husband has previously skated, has experience. I do not. I am the most klutzy person on the face of the planet. And my brother, when we were growing up, he was into skateboarding, and I was always really jealous. And I wanted to be a school skateboard kid in the 90s. And so we got a skateboard, and we got me like a helmet, and I have wrist pads, I have knee pads. I am like decked out because I'm a klutz. And it was so funny. I have it still in my camera roll. I was practicing just getting on and off the board. Like that's where I was going to start because I'm so nervous about
That's where Longa started.
Yeah. Like I'm so nervous about this. I'm just going to practice getting off and getting on. I'm not even going to push. I'm not going to do anything. Literally 2 days after we bought all that stuff, I found out I was pregnant with our son. So I had to completely stop practicing skateboarding. And I was like, well, that dream is on hold. And the picture is me standing on the skateboard. Like, I'm so proud. I've got my feet on the board, and I'm taking a picture of my feet. And right above it is the positive pregnancy test. I was like,
That's right, truly hilarious. That's truly amazing.
All right, I think I found, I'll send to you guys. I'm pretty sure this is the official art. Okay, I
also put like the tweet about the marriage movie in, I think either manga. Now that I'm looking at, I don't have my glasses, so I either put it in manga or manhwa. What is manhwa?
Manhwa. There's manhwa, and then there's manhwa. It's the Korean and Chinese comic of like mangas. Someone didn't watch our last podcast.
I didn't. I was watching these BLs.
There.
Okay, so I sent to you guys. It's so cute. Like, yeah, no, they're
there's a wink. They're both winky. Yeah. R.I.P. Dad.
Oh, was the dead photo in there too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny that like I'm still laughing at the fact that like I said, oh yeah, this guy looks like Zach Oyama, and you guys are like, yeah, and I was like, wait, you guys saw the anime?
Trying to like picture his hair in the anime. I'm like, I guess. It's like so hard to like rifle through the fan art for Sk8 because there's so much of it.
What's it? Oh fuck. I went through like a space hyperfixation like a few months back, like when the eclipse happened, and I was trying to find like I was just like got like into the other planets, and it was like Venus and Mercury, and then I was just like, oh fuck, a whole lot of Sailor Moon outfits or Sailor Moon, and then Sailor Moon fan art.
Okay.
Like because my algorithm is just so fucked, I had to like scroll through like Sailor Moon fan art and Hades fan art. I was like, how the fuck is Hades here? Oh, like Mars is Aries, and like all the like it's like a bunch of like blossoming like fan artists. And, like I just watched like there's like so many fucking hashtags on there. They're just like trying to like spam it and like push to the top. I had to go to like the second fucking page to find any pictures of like actual planets.
I could see where you would get lost in that. That's funny. I can't find any of like the birthday art that doesn't have like sample written on it, but it was definitely an official. It's definitely an official art. They're in love. I can't be convinced otherwise. Danny was saying that Justin Timberlake got pulled over and the cop didn't recognize him, and it reminded me how you and I talked about how no one ever recognizes Tony Hawk. Like the very last time we talked about Sk8, we brought up Tony Hawk because we're like, well, these characters hang out with a bunch of kids, but like in a Tony Hawk way, not in a creepy Adam way.
Yeah, like he's trying to help them learn how to skateboard. He's not going behind the jail bars.
Right, but just like
yeah, with the Justin Timberlake thing, I thought it was so funny because the cop didn't recognize him, and Justin apparently said, "This is gonna ruin the world tour," and the cop was like, "What world tour?" And he's like, "My world tour."
I mean, but like he was drunk, right? Anyway, so like it's one of those things where it's like that's how you would talk to, like you're like,
right.
Yeah.
My brand.
My brand.
Sorry, I looked up more photos. Just like I'm trying to figure out which camera it was. You look at these little cuties. That's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
The beach scene. Oh my god.
Yeah, that is so cute. But I saw the picture you sent with the birthday cake. Like and he's blushing. Laga's blushing in it.
Yeah. They're adorable.
Longa's blushing and Reki is winking. Like
he's making like a little kissy face too.
Yeah. Like I kissed my boyfriend on the cheek with his mom here.
I blushed too.
Right?
Oh, I have to zoom in because like sample is over the blush, but yeah, I see the blush now.
Mm-hmm.
Precious.
I think that one like was a good choice for you to recommend to me because like coming from like shonen, you know, I have like Trunks and Vegeta here, like I'm very much like a shonen guy, so like this was like a good transitionary. Like I mean, obviously I grew up with like Naruto when like, you know, Naruto and Sasuke. Also, to bring it back all the way back to Sasuke, there was like a BuzzFeed like clone kind of thing. It was like in the early 2010s when people were learning that if you mispronounce things, people will comment and it'll drive engagement up.
Oh.
He was like doing like a recap of like Naruto, and like he kept saying Sasuke's name, Sasuke, and every time they said Sasuke, I kept reminding that guy with the punchable face who is now like a right-wing pundit. I looked him up.
Oh my gosh.
Because like of course like wow, shocker, like a 22-year-old who got his start by pissing people off is now paying his mortgage by pissing people off.
It's giving, I know that guy, that's Naruto.
Yeah.
There's a Gojo audio for that out right now, and I'm thinking about using it where she's my niece is so extra. I'll send it to you guys.
Oh, I saw that. I saw the original video of that.
It's picking up. It's getting popularity. I gotta get my Gojo shrine together so I can make the video using that audio.
You have to set it up like Helga and Hey Arnold, where she had that whole thing in her closet, like the gum that she collected from Arnold to make the Arnold. You need to do that with like your closet.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, also a tangent. Like one of the fun facts is that like in Japanese the vowels in Japanese are pronounced the same as they are in Spanish. So like when I'm talking about anime in Spanish to people, I'll say Naruto, like the way they kind of do it and thing. And somebody was walking by like, you fucking weeb, like no, I mean yes, I am a weeb, but like not that kind of weeb. I'm not like a Japanophile. I just am speaking Spanish. Like
oh my gosh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like a lot of like if you just say a lot of the names with like a Spanish, like or if you say them in Spanish, you're saying them basically in Japanese.
That's good because whenever I don't know how to speak a language, I default to Spanish, which did not work well for me in Korea, I will say.
Fun fact, or fun pro tip: if you're like in a place with like France, this is the only place a friend of mine did it, where like he was in France and they're not like notorious for like not liking to speak English. They don't like Americans. So he went. I was like, "Hablas español? Like, do you speak Spanish?" And they're like, no. Do you speak English?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so he just spoke to him in English. That's the way he got the Frenchman to like speak to him in English and help him out.
He got the English pass.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's clever.
I was so weirded out when I moved to the Midwest because being from the South originally, most of us choose to learn Spanish instead of French.
Yeah.
But here, most people choose to learn French, and I was like, why? Totally forgetting about Canada.
That makes sense.
And I'm like, you know what? Never mind. That makes
honestly,
sense.
You guys,
Go ahead.
Have you guys seen the thing going around where the old British accent is the way that the accent of the South is presently? So if you read Shakespeare with a Southern accent, it is the closest to actual Shakespeare. And I love that because I love hearing like, oh, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? And I'm like, I need this, like how they did Romeo plus Juliet. Like, I need that with, like, the guns and stuff, but I need that in the South. I want that bad.
Yeah, like, the gun named Longsword is in the back of his truck, like, in the...
Yeah. I want that.
I think the closest you're gonna get to that is the Elvis movie.
Good enough.
I'm reading through... I had actually put together some questions, but I think we hit on everything that I wanted to hit on. I had
Look at us being productive.
I had like very profound questions, but like we ended up generally talking about it, so it seemed like less prompted because I had like, what impact do you think this anime had on viewers, particularly those who identify with LGBTQ plus? And we talked about how like Yuri was very like groundbreaking at the time and how it kind of like paved the way for a lot of this other stuff that we're seeing now, and how we talked about we kind of got both versions of like the coming out experience with Cherry Magic, where it's like, we're gay, this is hard, and the Sasuke Miyano, which is we're gay but we have a very supportive like friends and family. Same thing here where it's like, you know, do you think this anime was realistic, as was it realistic expectations for you know, BL relationship sort of thing. Talked about character personality. We nailed this, guys.
Hell yeah.
We're so good at this.
ADHD. We just kept tangenting our way into the thing.
How effective was the music and sound design in conveying emotions? And we talked about like the sparkles and how like it would pan down when they were kissing and they didn't want to show like teenagers kissing and stuff like that. Like, really nailed it.
I learned yaoi hands, yeah.
You learned a lot of BL vocab. Alright, just because I love Sk8, the Infinity, and T and we talked about it on our last podcast or podcast before, but who was your favorite character in Sk8?
I thought you were going to say it out of all of them.
I definitely like, I mean, yeah, honestly, even going through like all the characters through all of them, like from Sk8, Reki was my favorite.
So yeah, out of all of the characters, let's say, that we talked about today, who is your favorite character and why?
Okay, like... Definitely, like if I had seen it like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, like on way too much projected onto Reki, because I definitely have like those kind of like insecurities. Everyone else is like getting better, and I feel like I'm stuck in the same space. Like, like really relatable. Really liked it. That from Sasuke and Miyano. Honestly, like for as much as I like talked about it, you know, like Miyano's whole thing about like not really being seen as like masculine, you know, like you know, I got called gay. I got made fun of like for being like soft and sensitive growing up. So like I definitely understood where he was like on that level. I understood like, okay, I understand like struggling with your own masculinity and like what that kind of means. And then going back to like the Sk8 Hidashi from Cherry Magic, like again being stuck when everyone else seems to be moving forward and you're just kind of stuck in the same place. I definitely, all the characters I really liked I really kind of liked for that kind of thing. I guess with Yuri on Ice, Russian Yuri's anger, when it was just like really, I don't know, I just really liked it. He was like such a hater. You better not fucking retire. No, I'm gonna beat your score. You set a world record, I'm gonna beat your world record, and you're gonna have to skate again until you beat me. Also, I guess going back to like moments of the time, like maybe it's a cultural thing, but like man, they made a lot of fun about like Japanese Yuri for like, oh yeah, you're fat, because he keeps calling him Piggy, for the thing. I was watching a Get Smart from with like Steve Carell from like 2006, and like so many of the jokes are just like, yeah, he's fat, like Steve Carell used to be fat, and it's just like, geez, this really was like time capsule of the time. And I don't know if like the culture is like that much of a difference now in the year of our Lord 2024, but like when Yuri came out, I feel like that was like the last of that kind of joke, or like last of like the joke is that he's fat kind of thing.
I can see that.
Yeah. So then with your newfound perspective, do you have any words of wisdom or any like kind of notes, recommendations? What do you have to say in general about your experience, given that you're, you know, a cis straight male, and you just Pride Month went through 4 different BLs in like 2 weeks.
Part of it, I mean, I'm definitely coming at it from like a different perspective, from like
absolutely
an open and like an open, well, in terms of like an open like compared to like most straight males, like and I'm just like, all right, cool. Like, there's a part where just like Sasaki from Sasuke Me, and I was just like, the story would have been different if it wasn't a BL. Like the story they needed to build, and so like I kind of learned that like a straight relationship would be like, oh yeah, you're a boy, I'm a girl, that's just do that and that's it. But like here, like everything here kind of, there was like baggage that came with it. There was like there was an extra obstacle to overcome, and that kind of added to like the interest. That was like, oh, this is like inherently more interesting because there's not only the like social aspect that you have to overcome, but like also like the romance aspect you have to overcome.
The internal battle that you're having, where you're like, not because these characters and a lot of these didn't have the thought or realize that they could have intimate feelings for another guy. And so it's kind of the fighting with the environment, but then also fighting internally, trying to figure out who they are. I mean, and even like we said, Cherry Magic, he's 30 years old. He's still like fighting through his own insecurities, but then also still trying to figure out who he is.
And I feel like that's relatable regardless of who you are and who you love. Like, I'm 33, and sometimes I'm still like, all right, who am I as a person?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think that's a good perspective, kind of like approaching it from the standpoint that it is still a romance at its core, but it's got that extra like piece of it where there's that struggle that wouldn't exist necessarily if it were just a heterosexual romance.
I think that's like a piece that a lot of traditional in the US, when they try to do like interracial or like inter like religion things, like there's that they try to bring up on that where just like but like one of the problems, you know, we made a Shakespeare reference earlier, I don't but like it was like one of the key aspects of it is that there has to be like a equal balance. So like here with like the BLs, like both of them stand to lose something. I mentioned it before. It was so, like, even though like Hidashi from Cherry Magic is like a 30-year-old loser, like he can't go. He is like, I can't go much further. So like they both stand to quote unquote lose something like socially in terms of social capital by doing it. So I think that's like a bite, an extra kick that I feel that I've been missing from like a lot of like traditional romances that I've tried to watch.
What'll be interesting is kind of how we talked about with Yuri on Ice, how back then it was fatty little piggy jokes and how that was where they poked fun. How long will it take for us to get to the point where we look back on these BLs like, why were they struggling so much back then to, you know, express their relationship? It's just love. Are we going to get to that point? I hope so. I hope we get to them where we look back on these and say, wow, why couldn't they just hold hands? Why couldn't they just kiss like everyone else? But that's just not the nature of it the way that it is now. But that's, I think, why these medias, I'm going to say medias because it's mangas, manhwas, animes, are so K-dramas, J-dramas, live actions. So when we look back at these animes in the future, are we gonna think they're silly because it's gonna be so common that it's easy for gay couples to just exist like straight and heterosexual couples do now? Like, are we gonna look back and be like, why is it so challenging for them to just kiss on camera? Why can't they just hold hands? Why are their parents making a big deal out of this?
There's still some rom-coms from like the 2090s and like, I mean, they don't hold up in a lot of ways, but like in some ways like the conflict still holds up. I think people are always going to be awkward. I think if the stigma is not the problem, it's each individual person kind of figuring it out. And but then that'll vary by region, and that'll vary by, you know, like I'm sure even now, I'm sure there are city kids that are like, hey, he's gay, like that's fine, versus a kid in the countryside will be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is great.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to think that in my lifetime I'll be able to look back at this and be like, remember when that was hard and that was scary. If not my lifetime, then maybe my kids or like my grandkids, you know. I hope it's sooner than later that we can look back and be like, yeah, that was a time where that was scary and now that's part of history and it's not the norm. But who knows?
Until then, right? That's, I think, why so many of these media types are so important right now. And the diversity of the types of medias that we talked about, mangas, manhwas, animes, K-dramas, J-dramas, all of those different types of medias, and then all of the different, I will say, tropes that exist within them. So, like accepting families, worrying about whether your coworkers will accept you or not. All of those different varieties of these different experiences are important to showcase because it isn't normal yet. And right now we're looking through this through a very small lens as well, right? We're just looking at this from the BL perspective. There's so many different other perspectives, like we talked about Ace earlier. We haven't even touched on GLs at all. We talked about poly a little bit, as we talked about like some Disney stuff earlier. But like there's so many different like facets that still haven't been explored. And as well as like trans, right? We've got, I think, Princess Jellyfish.
It's had an anime.
Okay, I'm just behind the times then.
But in Skip and Loafer, there is a trans character.
Yeah. And there's a heavy implication in Komi Can't Communicate as well.
Yes.
But they're side characters, but it's, you know, until we get to the point where all of this becomes mainstream, but it's these tiny steps that we're taking that I think are making a huge difference in the lives of youths as well as adults.
Yeah.
Who are still finding themselves
and
too.
Danny, like you said, like you brought up, there could be a kid in the countryside somewhere, like countryside of Japan, countryside of the States, countryside of Mexico, that sees this is accepted somewhere, that can give them hope. Like, it might not be in my hometown right now, but maybe someday it can be, or maybe I can get out of here and go somewhere where that'll be okay. And I know there's a lot of discourse currently with like queer artists going to, specifically talking about the States because that's where we are, queer artists going to different states that are like red states, and there's this stigma around, well, why are we going into these red states? Because queer people are in these red states.
Yes.
You don't want to leave them out just because you don't agree with what the state is doing, because they might not have the option to leave where they are. And these kind of shows give them hope, like, all right, I'm in a small town, but there's this guy in this anime that's in this small town, and he's gay and he's okay. So it gives hope to people.
Yeah, like even like earlier I had mentioned like I know that I can like romance. Well, before all this I was like, I know I can like romance because I love Your Name, and like literally that she was like she was like in the countryside, and it was like, I wish I reborn as a handsome boy in Tokyo. Like like there was no subtext, it's text. Like
Right.
There's no undertone, it's overtone, like explicitly with it. So like
Yeah. So okay, this was fun. I enjoyed this experience. Danny, I hope you enjoyed this experience.
it was fun, honestly. And I will say one thing I love about romance is that they were short and quick. Like, I've watched more anime in this month than I have in the year.
Same.
The year so far.
They're easy to watch
Just
too.
'cause,
Like, you can play them in the background while you're working. You can play them in the gym and drop the weights on your toes. There's a lot of variety for what you can do while you're watching them too. They're just easy to watch. And I think I mentioned this to T too. That's why I usually watch them dub, because I like to do other things while they're on, because I don't feel like I'm missing a lot. But anyway.
Yeah, so in that case, I really did get the whole experience.
You're a regular romance watcher now.
Hell yeah.
You get the Girls Gays anime badge. You're a member of the team.
Thank you. Despite what my TikTok says, or what my TikTok thinks, I'm not a lesbian. I'm a straight guy, but I'm glad to have the approval of
honorary.
Yes, there you go. True ally.
Ally.
Speak, Valentina.
Ally.
So that's all that we have tonight for Girls Gays Animes. I appreciate you coming on, Danny, and as always, T, thanks for indulging my topics that I come up with randomly. I really enjoyed this because, like I said, I hadn't watched Cherry Magic yet, but I really enjoyed the manga, so this was an opportunity for me to force myself to, like, actually go and watch it. And now I have the motivation as well to go and watch the live action too, which I'm excited about. So if anyone has any topics, drop them in. And in the meantime, like us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, any other place where you can listen to podcasts or where social media can be posted. We're there. Check us out. And also, we've got a couple different podcasts that we're working with. You can check out Bakuko, and you can also check out Over MangaCast as well. And we'll play their promo. So, we out. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta switch it up. I gotta do the little hearts.
No, it's probably you have to do the peace sign.
How do I... that's there we go. The youth do this one.
You're not even doing it right.
I can't. It's so hard.
I love the idea of T going, the youth do this one and it's not right.
That's a fucking gang sign. Like she
There's this one, and this one.
You literally just did Naruto hand signs. Like you just did like a fucking pride jutsu.
Pride jutsu.
Like in real life, you do that. Do it again.
Did I do it right?
Oh, they.
Oh my gosh! How did he do that?
Yay! And on that note, we're out.
We out.